What's up, Animangians? And welcome back. So, today we don't have any news, any reviews, or reactions. Well, actually, a few reactions. Today we're going to be reacting to my top 5 favorite movie scenes ever. Well, okay, that's kind of stretching it. They're not my top 5 favorite movie scenes, but they are some of my favorites. And they're in no particular order, but I want to see if you guys recognize any of these and what you think of them, and do they rank in some of your all-time favorite scenes? Also, after you finish watching, if you want me to react to some of your favorite movie scenes, go ahead and leave them in the comment section, or even message me on Twitter and let me know what some of those are, and I'll go ahead and react to them. But let's go ahead and get started. And let's see if you guys recognize this one.
Master Yoda,
Count Dooku.
you have interfered with our affairs for the last time.
Powerful you have become, Dooku. The dark side I sense in you.
I've become more powerful than any Jedi. Even you.
Much to learn you still have.
It is obvious that this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force, but by our skills with a lightsaber.
Ah, it's been so long.
But well you have, my old Padawan.
This is just the beginning.
Green screen is so bad. You know, honestly, I'm not even sure why the second Star Wars movie, well, Episode 2, gets so much hate. It wasn't that bad. I know that Anakin is annoying, and, you know, his whole romantic thing with Natalie Portman was, like, kind of unnecessary. But they made Yoda a boss in this one. If you hated the entire movie, you have to say that this was one of the best scenes in the entire series. I'm actually a little disappointed that we couldn't see more of this. I think that the next time we saw Yoda fight, like barely, was in Episode 3. So it's really cool to see him like kind of break out of that, you know, old wise mage role and actually do something here. And I feel like they actually really did do a good job. This is phenomenal. Yeah, I just don't understand it. I don't get it. No, Episode 2 is not one of my favorite movies ever, but this scene alone should, like, at least put it above the first one, in my opinion, in my personal opinion. What do you guys think of this scene? Is this a movie that you remember? Have you ever seen Star Wars Episode 2? Did you hate it? Or are you like me, you feel like this scene kind of validates it just a little bit? Let me know in the comment section. Moving on to the next scene. Now, this is another movie that gets like a ton of hate, and honestly, I'm not really sure why. I really enjoyed it. I remember when I went to the movies to go see this, a lot of the people I was there with hated it, and I was like, "Why? Why'd you guys hate it?" I guess it was some of the ideas, and as phenomenal as the trailer was for it, I guess that it did let people down a little bit. But you cannot deny the creativity and the feeling that this next scene just gives you when you watch it. I mean, it was so perfectly done, so perfectly handled. Let's just take a look.
Running diagnostics.
Oh, come on! Get it out! Come on! Please! Oh God! Come on!
Initiating anesthetics. Commence surgical procedure.
I mean, you want to talk about movies not having strong female characters who are placed at the center of a film. The Alien series is known greatly for their strong female characters. Ellen Ripley is a legend, and even though Professor Shaw or Dr. Shaw isn't necessarily a legendary female character, she definitely has her scenes. I mean, anytime, I know I wouldn't have the balls to lay under a machine and have it cut open my stomach and pull something out. I guess you don't know what you can do when you have an alien growing inside of your stomach about to burst out of you. I guess that would give anybody balls, right? But I don't want to take away from the strength of the character, okay? This is one of my all-time favorite scenes, just because, and I still cringe watching this. It was very unexpected, and just the way that it was done, like it wasn't overly grotesque. It did everything that it needed to do to show you how hard this was to do. Noomi Rapace, who I believe is one of the most underrated actresses ever, definitely just she sold this scene. You knew she was in agonizing pain, but there was a sense of urgency too. Like she just had to get this thing out of her. I really hate that Prometheus 2 where Alien Covenant didn't follow up with this character. I'm not sure if there was some issues behind the set with Noomi Rapace and Ridley Scott, but apparently, she just didn't come back for the next movie, and it sucks because I feel like they could have done a lot with this character and with what they set up in this film. Anyway, overall, favorite scene. Not ever, but very, very close. Next scene, moving on. All right, so this next scene, it's one of my favorites, mostly just because of how the scene plays out and just how it makes you feel throughout the entire thing. And of course, its outcome, paves the way for the rest of the movie. Honestly, this is one of the greatest movies that I've ever seen, and it's one of the movies that really got me into watching a ton of other films and looking for things like this. Let's see if you recognize it.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't know he was here.
Peter? Peter? Is that you?
Pete?
How strange. There's nobody here.
Bit of a slob, isn't he?
All brilliant men are.
Hey, everyone.
Oh, Peter.
Parker. Sorry I'm late. It's a jungle out there. I had to beat an old lady with a stick to get these cranberries.
Oh, Peter. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now then, everybody sit down, and we can say grace.
Parker.
Here we go. There we are.
Oh, it looks delicious.
Norman, will you do the honors? Why, Peter, you're bleeding.
Oh, yeah. I stepped off a curb and got clipped by one of those bike messengers.
Oh, let me see. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that looks awful.
Oh, it's nothing.
I'll get the first aid kit. Then we'll say grace. This is the boys' first Thanksgiving in this apartment, and we are going to do things properly.
How did you say that happened?
Bike messenger. Knocked me down.
You'll excuse me, I've got to be going.
Why?
Something has come to my attention.
Are you all right?
I'm fine, just fine. Thank you, Mrs. Parker. Everyone, enjoy the fruitcake.
Dad!
Of course, they cut out the part where he says, whatever he says about Mary Jane. But there's just so much genius in that film. So many different, in that scene, so many different dynamics. I mean, you have Norman Osborn who's basically going out of his mind, and of course Willem Dafoe plays that role fantastically. You can see that he's distraught when he sees that cut on Peter's arm. He's like, oh my God, don't tell me that this is a person, this kid who I've grown up with, who I have a good relationship with. It's the person that I've been trying to kill. And of course, the whole scene where Peter is hiding on top of the ceiling. You have both of these men, both have like these super senses. Peter trying to hide from him. He can even hear like the smallest drop of blood just dropping onto the floor. It's just crazy. It's crazy how much is done right. On top of the fact that they were still able to kind of ease in the whole Mary Jane with Harry dynamic and how Peter wasn't really comfortable in that kind of situation. It all melded so well, and the entire scene was just really tense because you just knew that he was going to find out, and eventually he did. We all knew what he found out, but Peter didn't, and of course we saw how that played out later on. But overall, just a fantastic scene. I'll never stop loving the original Spider-Man movies. As much as I like Tom Holland, he's awesome. Tobey Maguire will always be the man. Moving on to the next scene. All right, now this next one's a little bit older, but it's still from a very classic film. Growing up, I was really into the action movies. Me and my dad used to watch them a lot. So I'm really into like the Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger type of films because he was a huge fan of those, and I usually watch those with him. And this is one of the scenes that we would both have a really good laugh at, and it's still really, really funny. Even though it's really corny now, it's still really funny, and it still works really, really well somehow in the context of the entire film. Maybe with just the scene, it's probably just funny and corny. But in the context of the entire thing, it was just beautiful. Let's go ahead and take a look. And let's see if you recognize this one. These fight scenes.
You're coming with me. See you at the party, Richter.
It's definitely just corny now. But Total Recall is one of my favorite films ever. So, you know, I do like to make fun of it from time to time because there are so many scenes that just didn't stand the test of time. Like when he, after this, he escapes and he's out there on Mars, and then like his eyes start popping out and everything. It looks really, really ridiculous. But I guess that just kind of adds to it. It just kind of makes the movie better, in my opinion. But this was definitely one of my favorite scenes from that movie. It was just so funny. And this was like an ongoing joke through the film. So the fact that he kind of finished it off with that made it a lot funny. If you haven't seen Total Recall, you need to watch it. It was one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's better films, one of the films that he was better known for. It also has an ending that I think is still being debated to this day among people who are familiar with the movie and the story. So if you don't know Arnold Schwarzenegger past Terminator, this would be a good movie to check out. Just to, you know, laugh at with your friends. It'd probably be better to watch drunk. Who knows? It just depends on what kind of movie watcher you are. But did you recognize it? Let me know in the comment section. Moving on to the final scene. Let me know what you guys think of this one. Now, this next scene is a little older. And the reason why it's and the reason why it's here is just because of the acting from this legendary actor. He really sells this scene. You really feel his hatred, his pain, how all of this has built up over a long period of time, and it just sells everything that came before it. And it's honestly it's a scene that I don't think has been undone at all, even with any remakes or anything or any over explanations. It's a scene that just works. Let's go ahead and check it out and tell me if you recognize this at all.
From hell's heart, I stab at thee. For hate's sake, I spit my last breath at thee.
Sir, the mains are back online.
Scotty, go through!
Ricardo Montalban really, I mean, like you could just see, you could see the hatred that he had for Kirk in this. It was quite hilarious. I mean, but this was a revenge story told right. If you're familiar with the original Star Trek series, you know they you know Khan was so powerful they had to leave him stranded on the remote planet. And so the genius in this film was that they actually went back to this one episode that people thought was a one-off, and they turned it into this film. And so the narrative just worked perfectly, and it wouldn't have worked as well without this actor, you know, playing this role. As you know, and we all know immediately after this happened, you know, Spock sacrificed himself to make sure that everybody else lived because of the radiation. It was just, a lot of this was just done perfectly. The entire film overall was perfect, but I just love his last scene in this movie. It was perfect. There was a cherry on top of an already great performance, and I don't think it will ever die down. Well, maybe, if people forget about it, which it seems like they actually have, but that's okay. What did you guys think of my top 5 movie clips? Have you seen any of these films at all? And what did you think? I also want to know what some of your favorite movie clips are. Maybe I haven't seen them and I would love to see what they are. If you want to share them with me and have me react to them, go ahead. Let me know what they are in the comment section or send me a message on Twitter. I'm always on my Twitter page. I'm always on YouTube. I'll see it. I'll react to it, and then we can talk about that as well. Be sure to let me know in the comment section below, and if you have not done so already, go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you can get more content like this, which contains movie news, reviews, and reactions, and sometimes things like this right here at Animanji. Don't forget to click that like button, and do not forget to click that bell notification so that you will be notified when I post again. That's all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay dope.